Good afternoon, everyone, His Excellency, former President, Prime Minister, Ministers, Excellencies, distinguished guests, and friends of the Arctic. First of all, it's a truly great pleasure to be here with you. I can't recall such a full event and such a good energy in the room for quite some time. Hope this energy doesn't contribute to melting of the ice, but actually contributes to solutions towards what's happening in the Arctic. I would like to thank, first of all, the organizers for the opportunity to present the European Union's new Arctic strategy here at this very impressive event. The fact that this visit here to Iceland is right after adoption of the strategy is symbolic, as it once more expresses the importance of the Arctic region to the European Union. And that importance is still growing. Ahead of COP26 in Glasgow, the EU is putting forward a new policy on a stronger EU engagement for peaceful, sustainable, and prosperous Arctic. Peaceful, sustainable, and prosperous. We all know that the Arctic is changing rapidly. Under the impact of global warming, growing competition for resources, and geopolitical rivalries, and if we don't manage those changes carefully, they will irreparably damage some of the most beautiful and fragile places on Earth. So that's why we are here today, to acknowledge the importance of the region and gather support for ambitious solutions. With our new vision, the European Union wants to make clear that we have not just geopolitical interest at stake, but also a meaningful contribution to make. We have set out precisely why and how we intend to step up the European engagement for the Arctic. And the three main dimensions along which we want to act are climate action, international cooperation, and putting people first. Climate change is the most acute threat the Arctic is facing. No other place in the world is warming faster. The Arctic Sea ice is melting. The Greenland ice sheet ice is melting. Permafrost is thawing. At a local and regional level, we see coastal erosion, biodiversity loss, and the destruction of associated ecosystems as a result. But the consequences of those changes extend to the whole planet. They profoundly affect nature and people in multiple ways, including through rising sea levels or completely derailed weather systems. We have seen quite a lot of that in the EU just this summer, with all human catastrophes that come with it. And in the end, everything is connected. The climate crisis, the collapse of our ecosystems and biodiversity, our security, health, and safety, our prosperity, and the future generations. The 20s of this millennium will be remembered as the make or break decade in the fight against climate change and biodiversity crisis. We have the science, we have the know-how, we even have the money. But what we don't have or won't have is a good enough excuse to explain to our children why we didn't do everything we could to fight off climate change and save the Arctic. Therefore, the EU is determined to step up its game in the Arctic, do even more than we have done so far. Of course, the 8 Arctic states have the primary responsibility, but many issues affecting the Arctic can only be addressed through regional or multilateral cooperation. Many of those issues are relevant for geopolitical dynamics, for wider security concerns, and for climate change. Therefore, every step of the way matters, and we will be part of that journey. We will also continue to play our role in international negotiations affecting the Arctic, because we need global actions for real impact. And there are many areas where global action is needed. Let me mention some of the most important ones. The EU will further address major sources of black carbon emissions, regionally and multilaterally, with all relevant players. We will push to keep oil, coal, and gas in the ground, including in the Arctic regions, building on existing partial moratoriums on hydrocarbons exploration in the Arctic. By promoting sustainable solutions in the European Arctic, we want to lead by example and inspire other Arctic regions and other parts of the world with harsh climatic conditions. We will support the designation of marine protected areas in the Arctic Ocean, in line with our own EU-wide target of 30% marine protected areas by 2030, as well as the international 30 by 30 campaign. You can also rest assured that the EU will continue to negotiate a strong agreement on biological diversity areas beyond national jurisdictions, and keep on contributing to the implementation of the agreement to prevent unregulated high seas fisheries in the Central Arctic Ocean. We will advocate with our global partners to set the highest standards for reducing the environmental impact of processes for exploitation and processing of raw materials. And we will promote faster reductions in the use of heavy fuel oils for Arctic shipping at the MAO and the EU entry ports. As I said, those are some of our most relevant strands of action at international level with respect to the Arctic, but there are many more. What's important to understand to frame diplomatic efforts correctly is that EU defines its geopolitical interests in a broad and comprehensive manner to promote stability, safety, and peaceful cooperation. That's where we have most to gain in the long term. To achieve those objectives, we will intensify our cooperation on Arctic issues with all concerned, and notably with allies and partners such as the US, Canada, Norway, Russia, and of course Iceland. That implies mainstreaming Arctic matters into our regular dialogues with all relevant countries and regional bodies, and in a very visible way. This enhanced cooperation will be reflected into the establishment of European Commission office in Greenland. This will further consolidate the good and long-standing cooperation between Greenland and the EU. Furthermore, we will enhance our involvement in all relevant Arctic Council working groups, and we will work towards an all-Atlantic research alliance from pole to pole. Now, finally, a word on putting people first, the third dimension of our new Arctic policy. By focusing on the people, we mean to find a balance between preserving precious ecosystems and encouraging sustainable economic development for the benefit of future generations. One cannot exist without the other. The EU will continue investing in the future of people living in the Arctic, paying special attention to the interests and views of youth, women, and indigenous people. We will support better education, sustainable growth and jobs, innovation and research, job creation, digital connectivity, digital skills. In the EU, we say that to succeed with the green transformation, with our European Green Deal, we must leave no one behind. I believe this also applies to the sustainable development of the Arctic, and that's why we say putting people first. So with this, I hope I have been able to give you a quick update of our new Arctic policy, and even more so, a good insight into the values, interests, and concerns behind that policy. For more detail, I'm happy to take a question or two, or you are more than welcome actually to attend the breakout session today at 5:30 with the EU Special Envoy for Arctic Matters. I strongly believe that the EU has a key role to play in making the Arctic safe, stable, sustainable, and prosperous. Safe and stable through enhanced international cooperation. Sustainable and prosperous by ensuring a strong link between EU's Arctic engagement and our climate policy, the European Green Deal and its blue economy dimension. Let me finish by thanking you again for organizing this important debate. International gatherings such as this make our commitment to cooperate and find common solutions even stronger. And I look forward to continue working with you. Thank you.